Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're good to be here. So this is just a presentation that I would like to show EIA and our colleagues on what we do here at Eswatini together with EIA. So our presentation, as you can see on the screen, this is just a summary of what we'll be presenting on, which will be presented by all of us in the team. So we'll start off with the introduction to Eswatini and what MicroProjects is all about. This will be presented by Mr. Bembe Bongani. And then we talk about the partnership between EIA, MPP, and our ministry, which is Ministry of Economic Planning and Development. And the program development projects executed, that will be presented by me, Skumbuzo Dlamini. And then projects execution and future goals, it will be a combined team effort, which will be Simpu Nhlapo, Siboniso Simelane, and Buhle Dlamini. So, introduction, I'm gonna ask everyone here to step in front of the computer to talk about themselves. It's just a brief on who we are, what we do. So on your screen right now, that is me, Skumbuzo Dlamini. When I'm not busy on site, as you can see on the screen at the bottom where I'm setting SEG there, you see how nice it becomes on site. So when I'm not doing that, I spend time with my son, Ndalo Enhle Dlamini. My wife is not in the picture because she's the one who took the picture. So I'm a MicroProjects civil engineer, and I was there when EIA Eswatini started. So I'm the program coordinator for EIA, and I like soccer and working hard, but I also play hard. I'll tell you later on how I play hard. So I'm gonna ask everyone of the team to stand in front of the computer and then they talk.
Afternoon, everyone. Or morning that side. It's afternoon this side. My name is Buhle Dlamini. On the Tebe or the bridge program, I'm involved in the procurement of the material. I've been involved in 7 projects, and mine is to procure the material that is bought by MPP, which is MicroProject. The cables, as you know, it's usually done by the supporting team, which is Sam and crew. But mine is the cement stuff, the decking, and also being involved with community mobilization in collecting the stones. As you know that we need a number of stones in construction of the bridge. Also getting cement, getting river sand from the rivers. When I'm not at work, usually on weekends, what I like most, Sam knows. Okay, I usually spend most of my time at home, but the rural part of Swaziland where we cultivate, there's cattle there. So most of the time when I'm free, I spend most of the time at home. Thanks.
Hello everyone, Sanbonani. In front of the laptop is Simpu Nhlapo, who is the technical officer for MPP. Basically, on the EI department, usually I concentrate on the construction management part. Here, what we do, we normally create the working schedule for all the projects that we do, just to make sure we safeguard our constructor on site if the progress on site is what we are expecting. Then I think what we normally do is creating BOQs. What happens in the creation of the BOQs? We collaborate with the students coming from abroad in terms of the specifications of the material that we have locally, so that it conforms to our standard this side. And what we do, it's another thing that we normally do is to make site visits at least twice a week. That's what we normally do, and prepare progress report. Outside that and social life, I'm just a church boy and I love soccer, nothing much. Thank you.
I'd like to apologize for Mr. Mdluli Mduduzi. He couldn't make it to today's presentation, but he's just new in the department. He's looking into the logistics of any activity of EIA. He's the one who takes care of us when we need to transport the students and any bridge code that comes to Eswatini. We'll be recruiting him, but we haven't set a full role on him, but he's also helping out on the community part. So I'm gonna jump to the next person.
Hello, Bridge Pillars. In your screen, it's Wanisus Melan. He is a technical officer specifically for the Engineers and Action Department within MicroProjects. So I joined EIA last year, 2019 February. So that is where I've been involved, in the technicalities, that is to do with bridge building. I've built like 4 bridges, and I've also had this opportunity to be involved in actually the design of the bridge. So it has been a very beautiful journey for me personally to be involved with EIA. And I'm looking forward to making sure that we grow the culture of building bridges. We help people, because part of my passion is just helping people, seeing people smile, during those bridge inaugurations. So it's been a very beautiful journey, and I can't wait to continue build more bridges. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was the MicroProjects team that is here. So after the MicroProjects team, this is the Masons team, which is the head Masons is Mr. Mangisa Sifunza. Mangisa Sifunza, he's the one who began the program with us, and he's learned a lot as we are continuing. As you can see there, that's his whole team. That's Mr. Chosta Twala. This is Mashalela. I don't recall his name, but I call him Mr. Mashalela. And then there is Sakile and Banele. So this is the team that is comprised, and we are happy that we got them a uniform and we got them a sort of tool so that they can start operations easily. What we're trying to do is that we don't want a case whereby we want to take a measurement and there's no tape measure. So as you can see, they've got their toolkit on their waist. So it's just to send appreciation on the Masons team. And then Mr. Vusi Sem Nanzi, Sem Sweet, and Sisibongile Britney Matsebula. So what normally happens when you come to Eswatini, you are given a surname and a name. I hope you still remember yours, Ethan and Jay. Yeah, so these two, without them, they've been very helpful here in design and supervision. So we just say we'd like to thank them for being this side, and we're looking forward to working more with them in the future. So we're starting our presentation now. We just think we need to share with you what Eswatini, just introduction, a brief introduction of what Eswatini is, what we're about, of which I'm gonna ask Mr. Bongane Bembe to do the presentation on that.
Good morning, good afternoon. Probably I will start by flipping back to the slide. For those that are familiar with Eswatini, the car that Sam and Brittany are standing next to, not the one that you open, the one with a canopy, is a police, is a vehicle for a police, but that doesn't mean that they were about to be arrested. Now, coming back to the responsibility, this part of the presentation, Bridge Breathers, was supposed to be done by our director, Mr. Mbing. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today, so he asked me to stand in for him. Now, I know probably some of you, especially Sam and Brittany, know Swaziland better than myself. They've been in the parts of the country that I haven't actually seen. So what we're trying to show those that haven't actually been to Eswatini, we're just trying to show you the position of Eswatini in context of Africa. Now, the name was recently changed from Swaziland to the Kingdom of Eswatini. This happened when the Kingdom of Eswatini celebrated its 50th independence. At the very same time, our king was also celebrating his 50th birthday. So then that was a very, very pivotal point in the nation. The other picture we're showing there, we're showing you a typical Swazi home with Emaguma and with Indlu Echan. Now that's Swati names for the houses you see. Now the picture of the pupils you're seeing there, that's basically the joy that comes with a bridge after it has been completed, because the bigger part of the impact these bridges are having is actually on the education system of Eswatini. So if what you're seeing there is joy for a bridge that was constructed through collaboration with EIA. Now, going deep now into the Kingdom of Eswatini, we're basically here showing you the topography of the area. Now, typically Swaziland, without going too deep into the way that the rivers are structured, but you can see from your screens the Highveld, which is the darker shade of green, that's sitting at about 1,500 meters above sea level. That's almost the range on of the Highveld of Eswatini. And then it gently drops towards the east, with the lowest part sitting at a region called Lubombo. Then the Lubombo is sitting at an elevation of about 200 meters above sea level. So that shows you, in the picture that we're presenting there, shows you the complexity of the topography that we're dealing with, and hence the need of doing the bridges. Now, we were also thinking that probably it would be an opportune time to do a short overview of what MicroProjects is about. Apart from building or collaborating in the construction of the bridges, the way that the MicroProject program is structured within the government structure of the Kingdom of Eswatini is that it is a semi-autonomous department that is found within the Ministry of Economic Planning and Development. That's a very, very strategic ministry in the Kingdom of Eswatini, because that's where the budgets of the whole country starts. So the position of the MicroProject program within the economic planning is very strategic for us, because we are able to influence the budget that we get to assist in the building of bridges. Now, the pictures that you see is a variety of some of the projects that we're doing. This is a road that we did for a community. They couldn't access most of the infrastructure, so we had to do this. And the economic activities within that area significantly improved. Now, like I said, that microproject is strategically positioned within a central or within a neutral ministry within government. So what then happens, you find that most, if not all, the government ministries, they then mandate or they issue instructions to MicroProject to construct on their behalf most of their capital projects. So this is an example. It's a project that we constructed on behalf of the correctional services. Now, apart from doing infrastructure projects, the MicroProject program within Eswatini is also involved in something called income generating projects. So this is a key mandate for poverty alleviation within the Kingdom of Eswatini. What you see before you is a tractor that we bought for a local community. And this tractor is bought for them without any cost from their side, except to contribute in kind mostly. So they own the tractor. The income that they derive from this tractor goes to their pockets. I wouldn't have done justice to the presentation if I didn't talk about a water supply scheme, because this is where now my trade is. So this is basically the typical water supply scheme that we construct within the Kingdom of Eswatini. It's biological treatment. I'm sure most of you are familiar. The first set of structures there is what you call horizontal roughing filters. They are primarily to reduce the turbidity in the water supply. The next set of structures are slow sand filters. That's where now the biological treatment takes care of. And then the last one is the storage reservoirs. This is a typical water supply system that we build, and we build a lot of this within the Kingdom of Eswatini. Now, another range of projects that we do as the MicroProject program is the construction of rural electrification schemes. So this is a typical scheme that we do. In actual fact, through one of our funds, this is probably the biggest portion where our budget is dedicated to. And we have seen significant improvement within the Kingdom of Eswatini by moving the coverage from as low as 49% now we're about almost 80% on coverage on electricity within Eswatini, and MicroProject through several other implementing partners has significantly contributed towards this. Now, this is lead deep or a deep tank. If you have traveled like Sam and Brittany, then you'll know, and you've seen this. It's basically to disinfect your livestock like cattle and goats. I've seen in yesterday's presentation that another student was presenting a lot of cattle. So this is where we disinfect them and remove any ticks from those animals. Now, this is a range coming from different ministries. This is a typical community market. Again, is a form of an income generating project. We are making sure that as an entity positioned within the Ministry of Economic Planning and Development, and the key mandate is poverty reduction. The key mandate is making sure that every project that we do contributes towards the reduction of poverty. That's why I liked the slide that we started with yesterday. I think it was Ethan, showing how significant a bridge, how significant it contributes towards the economic activity of a particular community. That is why, as MicroProject, we took a deliberate decision to support this program. Now, this is the most important one today, okay? This is what we support. As a matter of fact, as an entity, we have taken a deliberate decision to make the support, to make the construction of such bridges a part of our budget lines. So every year we're now providing budget to support the EIA program. And this year, I think what we have just put in is at least 5 million local currency, which is what? Using an exchange rate of 1:10, is about 500,000 US dollars. But of course, the exchange rate is not 1:10. It's a bit higher than that. So I think that's just about it. It was just an overview of the micro project program. But the most important thing that we want to acknowledge is the support. Ever since we received the team that is involved in this project, we have seen the reputation of MicroProjects growing even further than what we thought. We have also seen the impact on the communities that we've built these bridges. And the most important thing is that the model that MicroProjects is following in implementing these projects, ladies and gentlemen, is that it is community driven. The way that we do the projects is that we do them collaboratively with the community. We don't just come in and build a bridge and then leave. No. The communities that are actually the beneficiaries of these projects are, in accordance to law, supposed to contribute 25% of the cost of the project. Now, we all know that they won't afford that in terms of cash. So then we allow that contribution to be in kind. So they come with picks and shovels, they contribute stones, they mix cement and mortar. So that's exactly how they make up the 25%. This is our way of making sure that there's community ownership on that bridge. And in terms of operation and maintenance, after the bridge has been constructed, we make sure that there's an operation and maintenance fund managed by the beneficiary community. And we make sure that there is money at the bank that they're going to use to make sure that if there's a place where there is decking to be replaced, they don't need to go to ERA, they don't need to come to MicroProjects. They can just go to a bank and draw money to do that. Now, that was a mouthful. I'll be happy to provide further clarity on this issue. I'll hand over to Mr. Sikumbuzo.
Thank you, Mr. Pembe. Okay, we'll go to how this EIA MicroProjects collaboration began, whereby when it started, I believe it was Bridges to Prosperity when we first heard of EIA. So when it's, I'm not sure about the year whereby they came as, I believe Sam was still a student then. I think it should be 2013, if I'm not mistaken, or 2014, somewhere around there. And they had the honor of meeting our late Prime Minister, Mr. Barnabas Busiso Dlamini. This is the man there with our Honorable Minister, Mr. Small Joe Dlamini. He was the one that was very pivotal in taking around the team that arrived for the first time. And then 2016, these two dudes here, they rocked up in our office. They were talking about Tebe, and I was like, oh man, these are young stars. What am I gonna do with these young boys? Because they look like they are here to have fun, yet we work hard at MicroProjects. So, I was ordered to go with them. They explained to us what Bridges to Prosperity is about. And we were like, okay, because you also share the vision of growing communities, helping out communities, which is the same vision that MicroProjects has. So we traveled almost cross country with Sam and Sbura here. And I must say, I really enjoyed those trips, yet I was the one who was driving. They were having all the fun. So that's how it started. And then 2017, we built our first build with Colorado University. The place was Edlangeni, whereby, as you can see, this was the team that was here. It was, Ethan was the last to arrive. So he was called Mefiga, which means just arrived in Siswati. So then there's Jay here, Machaha. I think they just saw the way how he handles people, and they're like, hey, this one he's a lichaha, this one, he can manage people. So Jay Majaha, and then Medicine here was very helpful with taking pictures for the first build. And then Mavusana here, Sam, who stayed behind when all of the guys went back, of which we appreciated that a lot. And then there's Nati here. We thought he was gonna come back. We were very impressed by the way he was carrying bags of cement. It was like he was carrying a plastic bag of groceries. And then we have Sam Waserman here. This was a team, but there's one missing in this picture. I don't know, maybe she was the one taking the picture. Madison Phillips. She was part of this team. So basically, this is the bridge when we completed. Okay, on the first build, we struggled a bit, but we managed to put the most important things on the which was the decking and casting the anchors. So we had to finish the apartments for ourselves as micro projects, of which I believe this was what led to believing that we can do this as a collaboration with the EIA. So we went on when we see that when we saw that it is possible to build more tebetebes, and then what we saw was that because there is more tebetebes that we are building, let us set up a department, which we will call it Engineers in Action Department locally, whereby then we created a document which is called the finance agreement. This agreement is the one that helps us to facilitate most of the projects, and it is the one that unlocks every key in every ministry that we are involved with at MicroProjects. As you can see here, this is our director, Mr. Sbusiso Mbingo, Mavusana here, and our new principal secretary, Mr. Bembe. I don't know if he's related with our Mr. Bembe, who's here with us. Yeah, so they are signing the finance agreement, which unlocks everything, whereby EIA helped us in purchasing a vehicle that is gonna be strictly dedicated to engineers in action movements and executing the projects, which is this vehicle next. That's the team taking a picture next to the vehicle. We decided to have this vehicle because sometimes you find that when we needed a vehicle to go to site, you find that some of the vehicles are already dedicated to drivers. So we thought, let us get a vehicle dedicated to EIA, and we have our logos here, EIA and MicroProjects. These are sticker magnets. They are not permanent, because we wanted to have flexibility for the use of the vehicle during weekends. Okay, and then this is the office that was set up. As you can see, all this decoration, it's all thanks to Brittany. I had no idea how we were going to do this, but she came up with this, and even our bosses were happy. And you can see here, we tried to make the EIA logo, whereby we were having a short meeting. It was just a lunch to say we are grateful to work with EIA, courtesy of Mavusana. So at the end of the session, everyone was requested who was present there to put their handprint on a white sheet. Sorry about that. On a white sheet, which was very good. So what I can say is that the office is set up now. It is full-time operational. So on our next build, this is where everyone will be coming first before going to site. So now, on the program development, after getting all all the finance agreement in place, purchasing the car. We've seen that while we are doing the program, we've improved operations in a way that when we started with one tebe. Then 2018 we did 2, and then 2019 we did 3 tebes, and our plan for 2020 we were supposed to do 5, but unfortunately COVID happened, but it didn't stop us. We are still designing, we are still operating. We've also seen an local capacity increasing in the sense of Mr. Nhlapo and Mr. Simelane now able to do some designs on their own, doing some review calls and all the like, which is something that was part of the the agreement between EI and MicroProjects, that we need to have some skills transfer. And then we've also done some MOUs and the finance agreement as a key to unlock other areas. So we'll come to the projects executed, whereby our first build was at Edlangeni, which was in 2017. And then we have Gonjingila. This is where we picked up Mr. Sboniso Simelane. This was done with Cornell University. Then we have Ndlembeni. In Ndlembeni, we picked up a few masons, which is Mr. Twala and Mr. Mahlalela. The lady you see working there is our deputy director. We refer to her as Mage Simelane. Mage in Siswati is mother. So I'm sure Ethan and the rest can attest that she is really a mother to this department and at MicroProjects, because whenever you have problems, she's the one who's able to make things happen. Even if when the boss his tempers are high, she's the one who cools him down. So Ndlembeni we did with Colorado University. And then we have Mdlasomi, which was a collaboration of Cornell and remind me, Bonis? Yeah, USI collaboration. This by far is the longest that we've done, which is 95 meters. You can see the kids there are very happy. The river you see there, it's a Ngwembisi River. One would say, why would we build a Tebe in such a small river? This river really becomes full at these times of the year, October and September. I'm sure in the next 3 weeks, it will swell, will be amazed. So this bridge is by far the most impact at Eswatini. So we have Matangeni as well, which is in Hoho region, which was Colorado University, a collaboration as well with, you'll forgive me, I'm forgetting this other university, but there was 2 universities there as well. Sorry? Oh, McGill, yes. And then we have Beginkosi as well. This one is in the Manzini region, which is this one it's very beautiful. It was completed I think 2 weeks. We had 2 weeks before completion, so it was very successful, Beginkosi. And then Mapigelela, this is the most recent one that we built. COVID happened on this one, whereby the students they had to be evacuated as quickly as possible. So Sam stayed behind with Brittany to assist with the construction, just to oversee what we do. Most of the work was done by the Swazi crew. Sam was just there to oversee if we are doing things the right way, we are following the manuals and the like. So far, these are the projects that were supposed to be built in 2020, which is okay, Mapigelela, we were able to complete which left 4 tebetebes, which is Lubanjuswano, with the universities ND, SEED and PSU Mvubula, Mhlatuze, and Mpongongco. These are the projects that we had planned to do this year, but I'm sure we are still doing good with the designs, and we are still to do review calls on that. Despite the COVID happening, we are still excited to continue with working. COVID can't stop us. We are the Tebe crew, you know. So and then what we've seen on the impact is that the economy seems to improve, because people are able to access many facilities like health facilities, schools, and people are able to trade now in between communities. Because before you'd find that, especially at Edlangeni when we started, you'd find that there are women that do grass mats and the like, but they couldn't move their products to the other side of the community. So there is this event that usually happens at Eswatini annual, which is the bushfire. Most of these women, they usually go and sell their products at bushfire, so they would always have a problem accessing that place. So now with the tebetebes in place, they are able to access. So we've seen an increase in economy, and we've seen the skills transfer whereby our guys here, they are able to design now, they're able to supervise to completion tebetebe. And then there's cultural exchange whereby when the universities come, they come with different nationals. So you find that there's this exchange of culture, that what happens in India, what happens in China, you know, what happens in Eswatini, what happens in the States. So with that continuous construction, you find that there's also this cultural exchange that happens. And then the injury rates, we've seen that, okay, it's difficult to quantify, but we've seen a reduced injury rate and mortality, because at some stages you'd find that old people get swept away by rivers, but with the tebetebes in place, no one has been complaining about people getting injured in the river. They are always happy, the communities. So these are just random pictures that shows children happy. The children on the left are the children at Edlangeni. That's the Mason team. We are setting seg there with Mavusane, and that's the Cornell team. When we finished our Nhlecheni build with the lady that they used to stay at, Magesimelane, that's the lady right there, and the children, Magesimelane's children. So normally what happens when students come here, they take the surname of the homestead that they stay at. So I'm sure most of the Cornell guys there are Simelanes. So, okay, I think I'm gonna end here for now, and I'm gonna allow my other team members to present on the projects, on what we do when you're executing projects. So, next speaker.
Yeah, it's Sibo again, Siboniso. I'll just be brief about what we do actually before a bridge is built, because you know there are a lot of things that goes into the actual build. So the process begins with doing an assessment, assessing all the sites as not all, but those sites where we've received information that there is a need. But then when we get there, we have a system we use to actually quantify the need and really compare to other crossings, places where there's also a need for a bridge. So here I'm just gonna talk about what we do. So we just go to a social assessment under the guidance of EIA almost all the time. Like we use their forms, templates, they've created social assessment templates they've provided. And we go there, take all the data, we put it down, we look into, we're just informing the need of why we should build a bridge. So that's the social assessment part. That's when you decide that, oh, there is so much a number of people who are really struggling to get on the other side of the river. And then like you just capture the scene of the community, you know, putting that crossing in the center of the two communities on either sides of the river. So you just know that, like, you just come to a decision, and that's when you know that, oh, if this place, this particular place, community needs a bridge, and they have so many people who are being swept away by the swelling rivers, and suffer school-going children struggling to get to school on time. Those are the aspects that informs the decision that, oh, now there is a need. Let's go build a bridge. So I'll give it to Mr. Bushle Dlamini to talk about the community mobilization.
Guys, once again, Bushle will talk about the mobilization. As everyone is aware that the success of the project, what is done in the communities must be ready. By readiness, we mean they must be in a position to deliver what is expected from them. In bridge construction, they usually supply river sand, stones. They they provide us with storeroom for storing the material, and also accommodation for both the masons and the students who will be visiting that project. So for us, in order, before we start the project, we must be sure that the community is able to provide all of those things. So we usually do appraisals. Appraisals is going to the sites and visiting the community and making those interviews and making them aware that this is your responsibility, and you must make sure that everything is in place before we start that project. We usually ask them to have a project committee. The project committee is in charge of all the logistics that pertains to the particular project. And within the committee, there will be a storekeeper, because is their requirement to provide the storeroom for the material that will be delivered on site. So we train the storekeeper on daily, on the daily receiving and daily dispatch of the material. Secondly, we help them in making sure that the project is totally accepted by the community. By saying so, I mean the umphakathi must know about the project. They must write a letter confirming that they know the project. The inkundla must know the project by documenting that, okay, we are giving you a green light to proceed with that project. So on the mobilization part, we make sure that all the paperwork is in place, so that when we start the project, there are no disputes arising. Some saying, no, the project, we don't need this type of project. We need probably another project, because sometimes it happens that the community will expect a vehicle bridge, while we are not doing a vehicle bridge. So before we start the Tebe, we must make sure that the community wants the Tebe bridge. So we make sure that all the paperwork is in place, and everyone knows that we are doing a Tebe bridge, and everyone is ready to contribute whatever is required from him. I think that's cool.
Okay, so now we're talking about the design. After the social assessments are done, that is when we've been lucky enough because we've been doing a social assessment. I've had the chance to be trained by Brooke Sigabek. She was here in Eswatini, so I think I'll explain more. I like this this point, so but I won't be long. What we do is after the assessments, after we've decided that there is a need, that's when we will go there, do a full topographic survey, with the use of auto level. We've been doing that with the guidance of a specialist, Mr. Sam Sweet. So it's always, what we do is always under the constant supervision of EIA. So we do those technical surveys. We come back to the office. We process the data, using Excel. We take it, then we send it to student teams who will be ready to do the designs in AutoCAD. So basically, that's all we've been involved in when it comes to the design aspect. So I'll let Mr. Nhlapo take on the construction point.
Thank you very much, Boniso. I'm just here for the construction section. I think at this point we all are aware that the assessment has been done, mobilization has been done. Now it's high time we prepare ourselves for construction. We okay, sorry. We all know that what guides us the most when doing construction is the master plan, which actually will be a template for us to determine whatever process we need to do at any time that we want to do it. So first of all, there is a procurement section. The procurement section is solely for the procurement of material. So with the construction schedule at hand, you're able to determine as to what material, what equipment, what tools are needed for that particular I will say particular task or during construction. So that is this is what we do. Then in procurement, then we will just make sure that material are on site at the most convenient time. Equipment, tools are on site at the most convenient time. So another thing that we do is securing the services of our mason for Sifunza. We should all keep in mind that Mangisi Sifunza is has been certified by EIA of being competent to construct the tebes in the country, the footbridges. So yeah, at this point we prepare all the paperwork documentation for Mangisi Sifunza to be able to resume work on site. Another thing that we do, at this point in time, we expect students coming into the country, and MicroProject to ensure that provide transportation for students. That is from the airport to where they're gonna be hosted. But then before anything else, they don't go straight to a site. We'll all note that we have other government officials and community leaders that we take the student to for introduction before they go to site. So we always align ourselves with that protocol, that before they go to site, they are introduced to the various government officials. So the MPP will ensure that there is a vehicle that is always available to take them for shopping and do other stuffs while they're on site. So yeah, there is the last point there, which is supervision. Under supervision, MicroProject will make sure that at least he visits the site 3 times of a week, and by so doing that, we are also expected to carry out our doing our own project reports on that on running ongoing project, I would say. So yeah. Once again, another thing that is expected of us during the course of the project is to make those interim payments to our masons. So yeah, MicroProject will carry on that project. Yeah, we'll carry on that aspect. So another thing that we normally do, like I say in the beginning, that we introduce the project to the community. So it is our responsibility again to say goodbye to the community when you are done, or like you have completed the project. So this is what we normally do at this point in time. So yeah, this is all I could say. I can just leave it for the future aspects.
Now, Nhlapo left the very most critical part, the one on, then at the end of the bridge, we eat meat. That's a very, very important point. When we finish a bridge, we eat. Okay, I thought I should highlight that, bridge builders, that make sure that when you come to Eswatini, stay until the bridge is completed, then you will eat meat.
Thank you for that, Mr. Pembe. And yeah, our culture, we love meat at Eswatini. So these are just typical pictures of what we do. When students arrive, they usually arrive at a place called the Legends at Eswatini, whereby that's where they do every setup and everything. And this is where we usually do the pickups and then take them to their respective sites. And this year is when we are doing the assessment. As you can see that we always take a note on the high water line. And this is always assisted by the oldest member in the community, because there used to be a storm, the heaviest storm that Eswatini has ever experienced in the 1980s, called Zamcolo. So that's the high water line that we always look for. And then this picture here, that's the chief's house, which is called Umphakathi, whereby we usually come and discuss and talk about the project which is about to come. Usually this happens before the students arrive. So we visit the Umphakathi, we brief them, we tell them that there'll be students, Abelungu, that will be here to build a tebe, so that they can brace themselves and prepare for it. And then it's just an assessment on one of the project sites that we will be doing. And then some more pictures showing how we work. As you can see, like we said, we love meat. Here is this is a goat that was given to the last students who were here. Mapigelela in Maphalaleni, whereby this is the Honorable MP, Mr. Masego, and our Mason here, Mr. Mangisi Funza. Unfortunately, these guys, I don't know why they did it. They left me out when they chowed this goat, but it's okay. It's not a problem. So we work as a team. Usually our office come out to work with the team. So this is one of our office and MicroProjects who come in and work. That's how we work, and this is the material that is collected by the community. So having said all that, we are looking into the future aspects of the program, whereby one of it is having a suspension bridge construction. I know this one is it's one of the strongest, it's one of the most complicated, but we believe that with you guys, with us, anything is possible. And we can, just like we've started with the suspended bridges, we can also do a suspension bridge in future. That's our future aspect. And then probably as time goes on, we will be trained in such a way that there will be some bridge corps that come from Eswatini, which we find that when we are expanding to Southern Africa, instead of flying people all the way from the States, you can just call the local bridge corps of Eswatini to go and handle a bridge locally in Africa. So that's our future aspects. And then we maybe probably with time, we'll have a regional operational base whereby EIA will have a fully pledged office locally. Ethan, you don't have to come here all the time. Yeah, you'll have someone who'll be here regionally. And then empowerment of we've noted that since we've started the Tebetebes, our local universities have not been fully mobilized to be part of the program. So we are looking into engaging our university and colleges, because when we do setting out, usually the students, they usually have practicals before they graduate. So they can utilize the skill of setting out the Tebetebes for us, and maybe in future create an exchange program whereby our local students will exchange with American students, UK students, and see how we go. So this is okay. That's the end of our presentation. So usually when we always finish a bridge, there's this slogan that we've always been doing, which brings team spirit together. We usually form a circle. So I'm gonna ask all of you to unmute yourself. I don't know how that is gonna work. If we're going to hear each other when we are shouting. Is Gopi around? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm here.
Gopi used to be very good at doing this ending. Such that when he starts doing the countdown, when he picks up the helmet, people would run away thinking he's beating them. So Gopi, can you do the honors, Gopi, and do the closing? And everyone, please unmute yourself. We are all gonna shout, Gutsatu, Gubili, Gunye, Botebetebe. Yeah, you got me.
You know, the fun part is I still have my helmet.
Oh, good. Okay, so please, everyone unmute. We will do Gutsatu, Gubili, Gunye, Botebetebe. Gopi, please take over.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Gutsatu, Gubili, Gunye,
Awesome presentation.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Over to you, Ethan.
yeah, thank you guys so much for that presentation. That was amazing. So great to hear from you guys and see all the awesome stuff that you're up to. And we do have time to take questions. If anybody has questions for our guys in Eswatini, Breton said that his presentation isn't going to take the full hour. So we can take some questions if people have questions. And then we'll take a bit of a break and come back for Brenton's session on Bridge EDU. So if you have questions, go ahead and pop them down into the chat, and we can read them off and have the guys respond. I'm glad you guys ended with the countdown. That's always a lot of fun.
Nibulalile, Bobafo. Nice one. Y'all killed it.
Yo. Yeah, boo.
Yeah, Bango, see. Number one, man.
All right, got a question from Joel. What's been the biggest challenge so far? What would you guys say to that?
I'm gonna let Sibo to answer this one.
Yeah. So far, we haven't encountered something that was hard for us to overcome. So it has been our culture. Like we're lucky to have been led by Sam Sweet. He's instilled it in us to always, make sure that nothing overcomes our spirits. So uh, uh, there isn't like, okay, let me just say it's just what has been challenging so far is getting into the groove of doing things on international standard levels. You see, like even getting into these online organizational platforms, we've struggled there since I think you all would agree with me that here in most parts of third world countries, it's something even from school we don't get exposed to, even the uses of the internet, computers, and all that. So, but we've made strides so far, and we are just glad that EIA has been there, and they've been helping us to actually get into that level. So I don't see another challenge. It's
Now, on a management level, Ethan and the team, what we're facing currently is that we're now sitting with a lot of the members of parliament wanting these bridges. And that's a challenge. Everybody now, the communities are coming up and saying, we've seen it somewhere, come build it for us. So that means now that all of you are supposed to come take residence into the kingdom of Eswatini. Now, that's very important now. Sam knows that, you see, during December, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for marula, magani. That's local brew, very, very delicious. So make sure that even COVID or no COVID, between December and March, this amarula season, okay, you have to be in Eswatini because we need to build more of these bridges. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Just one, another challenge is just why keeping up with base camp. Yeah, it's keeping up with base camp. Yeah, we try to keep up, but yeah, but we love the program. It's really, it keeps us on toes, and we really enjoy using it. Yeah, and then
That's another thing that Sam instilled in your culture, huh? Struggling to keep up with base camp. Got to take the rain with the rainbow. No, that's great. So we have one other question. How has COVID impacted your country operations, the in-country operations? So what have you guys had to do differently in Eswatini as a result of COVID? And also, have you found any like silver linings of COVID, any unexpected good things that have resulted from it?
Well, as a country, COVID has really impacted us very bad because, as you know, Swaziland is it's a landlocked country, which has South Africa and Mozambique as neighboring countries. So we rely heavily on South Africa. So South Africa has locked all its gates. So doing construction has been a major challenge because we can't keep up with timelines. We can't keep up with projects completing on time because products don't arrive on time, especially cement. And the suppliers, what they usually tell us, they tell us that they can only bring you only one truckload of cement, which is about 100 to 200 bags of cement. So that's the major challenge that we've had, and that's the major impact that we've experienced as a country. And then positives, we haven't seen any as a country, but we've seen in the department whereby we found ourselves focusing on design, focusing on paperwork especially. this is when we found out there's, oh wow, this base camp is really killing us. So thanks to COVID, we are able to learn about this now. So that's the positive that came to with this.
Sam and Brittany, when you return, your files are clean now. Thanks to COVID, these guys couldn't go out. So I was making sure that every information that is required in the files is there. So there will be no stopping of vehicles because the files are empty. Now, apart from the challenges, the country now is currently facing a little bit of a fiscal challenge. So we may find that the budget is indeed approved, and you have the money on paper, but the actual cash is usually a challenge at this time. So that's one challenge that we were actually seeing. Now, personally, I've seen a silver lining, or as far as COVID is concerned, because the breweries are closed. Every brewery, so you can't get beer anywhere. So I've started to brew my own using fruits. That's a very big positive. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great to be able to find silver linings. All right. One more question here. Why did all of you decide to work on the Botebe Tebe program with us? What motivates you guys to do this, even though it's really hard work?
Basically, as we have shown you that MicroProjects does a lot of projects whereby some of the footbridges that we do, they are steelwork footbridges. But the problem with those designs is that we need to have columns inside the river. So, which became a huge challenge on us at some areas, such that, let me give you an example of Edlangeni when we started. An assessment was done, I think in 2012, whereby there was a design that talked about having pillars inside. So it became very hard for MicroProjects to do that, and very, very costly. So when this design came, whereby you can have a suspended footbridge, which has got supports on other sides of the river, this was something that really tickled our fancy, that, oh wow, we've always been struggling to build crossings for communities. Here is a chance for us now. So the motivation factor was the type of design that Tebe Tebe came with. And to show that is why a department was formed, so that it will solely focus on the Tebe Tebe part. And then basically that's what motivated us. With us, we are used to hard work. So to us, hard work, we welcome it with pleasure. That is why we decided, yeah, let's do this.
Just to add, guys, I think the Tebe Tebe is signed well with MicroProject because it's using the community participation model of construction. At Micro, we involve most of the communities in doing the project. So with this type of project, we stay with the community, we work with the community, we eat with the community, do a lot of things with the community. So it has, when it came, we saw that this project is exactly the model that we've applied in the past. So it was very easy for the MicroProject to adopt this project, and there are officers who are used to the community participation. So it's signed very well with the model of MicroProject. Thank you.
Anybody else want to answer?
Okay, sorry about that. I was saying, the sky is always the limit for everyone. So I saw this as a great opportunity for me personally to grow in the field of engineering, that I would say. So I mean, like Botebe was just a right platform for me to experience new avenues in the engineering field. Again, you know, it has increased contacts for me. I like my WhatsApp now. I like my, you know, like people from abroad, and now I don't have to always go to my boss's Kumbuzo for clarifications sometimes or consultations. Now I just go out to read to P, XAP, what happens there and there. So things like that. So yeah, I saw it as a great platform to me to actually to increase. I mean, like grow in the engineering field. So yeah, and once again, just to work. I mean, the international standards. You know, this is a great platform to me again to meet international standards, because as much as I work with different students from different countries, I would say, at the end of the day, what is important is to speak one language. So I mean, we might speak different languages, but at the end of the day, we have to speak one language. By so doing that, that one language that you speak becomes so stronger. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe just to say something. All what Hlapo has listed is part and parcel of why I'm involved with building these bridges. But the main reason for me, it's very personal, because these kind of projects, you know, back in 2018, when the Cornell team came to build a bridge down the southern region of Eswatini, it's called Mhlechen. So this bridge, this kind of projects, they found me when you know, I was struggling to just find what I wanted to do. You know, it's very personal for me. Like I had offers from companies in Eswatini, construction companies who I would have worked for, but you know, I just needed something that will go with exploiting engineering and also directly impacting communities. Like the smiles you see, the smiles from the people you see after you've during these bridge inaugurations, like this happy day, the day when we eat the meat, like everybody's just happy, you know, like there's nothing like that. There's no greater feeling than that for me. So it's very personal to be involved in building these bridges, and I just love building bridges. Yeah.